So basically, me and this guy, we met on Tinder last year, and back in the beginning of October, and we hung out a lot in the beginning, and he took me to the drive-in, yada yada yada, and so we stopped talking because he didn't have time to hang out. And now that I know what happened now, it kind of all makes sense. So we started talking back again in February and dating, and he's told me he cared about me and wanted a future, blah 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 blah. So things were normal in the beginning, and then I noticed that he wouldn't post any pictures of us, and he kept saying it was Court and his baby mom. He couldn't do it because he didn't want her to see, and then the kids be taken away. So I understood that. So the one day I kind of started investigating, and I looked on his Facebook and Instagram and noticed that he didn't even have her on there. So when I mentioned it to him, I said, like, who were you hiding me from? Because that's a little bit suspicious. Like, you lied to me about saying you have her, but you don't even have her on there. So the one day I was hanging out with him, and he posted a picture on his Snapchat story. So I said to him, like, why can you post a picture on your Snapchat and not on your Instagram? And he's like, oh, because she can't see it. And I'm like, well, you don't even have her on there. And he goes, oh, her family, I don't know who her family is or her friends. And I'm like, you have 30 friends. Like, I'm sure you can figure it out and block them. He's like, oh, I didn't know you can block people from the story and like from your posts or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's just bullshit. So as I came to find out, I seen this girl, and I seen that he was liking all her pictures and commenting on all of them. So I asked him about it, and he's like, oh, it's just a friend from work. Like, we used to flirt back then, but like, it's nothing now. We don't talk at all. So I was like, okay, like, that kind of sounds like bullshit. Like, you're hiding me from her or something. Like, I just had a gut feeling. He's like, no, I'm not. He's like, you're acting crazy. So I was like, okay, well, you need to post a picture of us on your Instagram then. So he posts a picture of us on his Instagram. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I can trust you. And then I just had this really bad gut feeling that just like something was up. So I asked him for his Instagram password, and he gave it to me. But at first he's like, oh, I can't remember the password. And I'm like, if you don't give me the password, like, we're done, because I know you're hiding me from somebody. So he gives me the password, and I'm like looking through things, and I noticed like before he sent me a screenshot of his message with this other girl, and it was just him sending her stuff and she's not responding. So I'm like, okay, that's a little bit weird. So I logged onto his Instagram and noticed that those messages were gone. Looked at his story and noticed that he blocked her from seeing her story. So I said to him, like, why are you blocking her from seeing your story? And there was also two other girls blocked. So I was like, why are you blocking her from seeing your story? Like, I'm going to message her because clearly there's something going on. And he's like, don't message my friends. I don't want them to think you're crazy. So I followed her. And then I guess she sent him a screenshot, and he's like, unfollow her, like, we're done, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I should be able to add your friends, like, whatever, you can add mine and it's not a problem. So I added her, and then I kind of just slowly, like, was not really messaging him because I knew him and this girl were together or seeing each other or something. So I sent her this huge message on Instagram and just said, hey girl, I was dating so and so, and I've been dating him since then. This time, sorry. Like, have you been dating him too? And she's like, oh my God. She's like, yeah. She's like, we've been dating for the past year. He left his baby mom for me. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because he told me she cheated on him. And he's like, no. She's like, when we first started dating, he told me that they were split up, and then he had his daughter, and I was like, where did this baby come from? And I ended up finding out that he was still with her, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's one of red flag. So I ended up calling her, and I found out that last year, as me and him were hooking up, he was actually in a relationship with her. But she kind of should have took the red flags that he's a cheater from the beginning, because he lied about being single and all of that, and then left his baby mom for her. Like, if he does that, he's just gonna do it again. So basically, me and that girl talked on the phone, and like, I sent her screenshots and everything of when like he was with me and supposed to meet up with her. And I guess she decided to stay with him because she said she didn't want to meet. So kudos to her, and I can go to bed at night knowing I'm not getting cheated on. Yeah.